Welcome back to Football Worldwide and to another episode of European Weekly Catch Up.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of European Weekly Catch Up. As Jonathan would put it, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us in the world. It's been a week off because last week we just had so much content coming up, so much news to cover. Like always, I'm joined with Jonathan. How are you, mate?
Great as always, man. I missed you last week, especially while Anthony and I covered the Champions League as well. Geez, it was a massive week, but we couldn't make it happen, so we're going to make up for it tonight. We've got a lot of content to cover tonight, and let's just get straight into it, Bruno.
Guys, before we get into it, just remember, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We drop a lot of shorts, which are generally breaking news, so you'll be kept up to date with that and many, many more. But on today's episode, we will be covering match day 13 of the EPL. Serie A match day 14, La Liga match day 15, Bundesliga match day 13, Ligue 1 match day 15. We'll have our around the grounds, our ones to watch. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. But what do we have first today, Jono?
Hey, first as always, before we get into the first league, don't forget, guys, Bruno, for your convenience, has always set up our timestamps on the European Weekly Catch Up show for your convenience, so you can fast forward or click the special league that you just want to hit or listen to. So, in going into that, the first league, as always, Bruno, the English Premier League, buddy.
Okay, let's take it away. This week's match day 13 was jam-packed with some interesting results. Arsenal left it until the second half to defeat Newcastle 2-0. Liverpool, they were way too strong in their 4-0 win over Southampton. Norwich and Wolves shared the spoil in a 0 draw, but Norwich, I do feel, were robbed at that point. Then you have Crystal Palace and Aston Villa was a fantastic fixture with Aston Villa coming out 2-1 victors there. Brighton and Leeds shared the spoils in a 0-0 draw there. Brentford got the job done over Everton in a 1-0 win there. Manchester City, way too strong. They closed the gap at the top of the table down to 1 point with their 2-1 win over West Ham. An honourable mention to this entertaining fixture, Leicester City defeating Watford 4-2, but it wasn't the 6 goals that was scored. It was the fact that it was played in abysmal conditions. Snow was pounding down and everything in between. So that was fantastic. But the final game and the most surprising result of the round was Chelsea and Manchester United sharing the spoils in their 1-1 draw. Jonathan, Chelsea. We had a fantastic game in front of us where you just thought anything was possible with Chelsea, Manchester United sacking Ole last week. Carrick was in the position. Ronaldo on the bench. Effectively started with 6 defenders with their midfield stacked with CDMs. But did you expect Chelsea dropping points this week? You're on mute, buddy.
Sorry about that one, mate. Thanks for that. No, but look at it for what it is. Man City versus Man United, big win for Man City. Liverpool versus Man United, big win for Liverpool. Chelsea versus Man United, and they've dropped the ball. Leicester have done it. A lot of other teams have done it this season, but Chelsea hadn't been able to get the points. So, in all seriousness, I would definitely say Chelsea dropped 2 points this game. And even though the stats will show that they were dominating and they should have won this, by all means, they should have. The fruit's in the pudding. And you know what I mean? Like, it was a 1-1 draw at the end of the day. Chelsea didn't take their chances. Werner was wasteful. A lot of their attack was wasteful. Like you mentioned, Man United had 6 defenders pretty much all game. You know, dropping Ronaldo on the bench was a surprise, but you got to give it to him. It was effective because he's the main person that doesn't drop back into defense. So purely warranted, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And the result was amazing for the Premier League because Chelsea's lead has been cut down to 1 and they're sitting on 30 points, City on 29 and Liverpool now on 28. And it's the three-horse race that many of us predicted at the start of the season. Now, with the way things are going across Europe, with all three teams qualifying in first spot in their groups, you can really say that this was Chelsea's time to stamp their authority, especially with, like you said, City and Liverpool got the job done against United, as well as West Ham, but Chelsea just struggled. And, Lukaku did come on at the back end, but if he was fit, you're looking at a different sort of ball game.
Yeah.
And moving into that whole, are they going to be able to, take the rest of the league to the sword? Well, they drew with Liverpool and they lost to Manchester City and they've drawn with Manchester United. So many of the top four teams, you'd expect that they'd be picking up the points rather than dropping them. And they've dropped points across all three fixtures.
No, 100%. And look, at the end of the day, for me, Chelsea is supposed to be, top three this season, pretty much putting it to Manchester City and going close to winning it. You can't draw games like this. They did it to Burnley a couple of weeks ago where they were wasteful as well in front of goal. And there's 4 points dropped where they should have a lead of 5 at the moment. So in all seriousness, it might come back to hurt them, but let's just hope it doesn't for their sake.
Yes, and there was one game short this week. The Burnley Tottenham fixture was cancelled due to the pitch and the snow. The Man City game was quite comical, them coming on with 10 minutes to go to clear the lines because it was snowing that immensely that the linesman couldn't see where halfway was. They couldn't see if the ball was out. They couldn't see if the ball was out for a goal kick / corner. They had to stop the fixture, and the reports coming out were both Conte and the Burnley manager were approached by the match officials and they said, look, we'll be stopping the game every 10, 12 minutes to clear the pitch.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, it's not the spectacle, you can't gain any form of momentum. So let's just kick it on and push on and
100%.
let's go.
Yeah, 100%. So going to our next, I'm pretty happy to leave that one there, mate. Go to our next league.
Definitely.
Yep. Our favorite one and always will be the Italian Serie A.
So Jonathan, I will hand it to you for match day 14 recap.
Beautiful, mate. Love it. So Cagliari and Salernitana played a 1-1 draw. Sampdoria got a 3-1 win over Verona. Empoli, too strong, coming down from behind, 2-1 over Fiorentina, but got to give a special mention to the striker for Fiorentina. They're still killing it by all means. And Pinamonti for Empoli, absolutely killing it again. Juventus, no good once again. 1-0 loss to Atalanta, and Zapata absolutely destroying and giving Juventus all the headaches of what they need. Inter, too strong for Venezia, 2-0. Udinese and Genoa played a very interesting and a very good 0-0 draw. Sassuolo, which is going to be our one we're going to cover deep, 3-1 over Milan. And Bologna 1-0 over Spezia, Roma 1-0 over Torino, and Napoli, special mention, 4-0 over Lazio, bouncing back over after last week's loss. And Mertens becoming, once again, extending his league to become the highest goal scorer for Napoli in their history. Bruno, all those special mentions, but mate, the one I really wanted to dive into and dissect, Sassuolo versus Milan. Mate, what can I say other than the fact that Berardi absolutely loves playing Milan, and Samaka, mate, absolutely killed it for him.
Yeah, look, ever since Pioli signed his brand new contract, he's dropped 6 points. And you know what? He's done for an interim manager, he's done very well. But I don't put it down to Pioli in this instance. They played a very tough fixture in the midweek against Atletico Madrid, and they came away victors there, which was very good on their behalf, but they put all their eggs into that basket. They did take an earlier lead, which was very quickly cancelled out, and you could just see that this team and a lot of the teams like Juventus, Inter are fatiguing, and they're fatiguing a lot. And, you've got Champions League, which is one thing. You've got international breaks where both Inter, Milan, and Juventus all have a majority of their players in there. And then they're playing Champions League. And then this week, you'd think there's a breather. No, they're playing a midweek fixture. So it is non-stop, and it is starting to catch up with them. But overall, Sassuolo, they got the job done against Milan at home last season as well. So it's one piggybacking straight off into the next. But I did catch this fixture as they were filming the Serie A roundtable, and they did bring up some amazing points. So, guys, don't forget to check that out because they do go nice and in depth into this fixture. But overall, they are missing a fair few of their critical players. But it's just one of those things where, is it history repeating themselves? The last two times a winter champion has not won the Scudetto has been Napoli and Juventus won, and AC Milan last season and Inter won. And the way things are shaping up to be, yes, they're still in second, but their lead's been cut to only 1 point over Inter. So it is one of those uphill battles for them because this league's becoming one of you drop points, you're gonna suffer overall.
Bruno, let me ask you, Milan, 2 losses in a row, like you mentioned, purely since he's had his contract renewal. 2 losses in a row. Is it something for Milan to start worrying about? Romagnoli got absolutely played on the weekend as well after he scored that header.
Look, it was a fantastic. There's a fantastic image of him just lying on the floor as the ball gets put into the back of the net, and I just think that sums up Milan's game at the moment. But no, I do think they are still up there in contention for this title this year. You'd have to be a Juventus fan or something like that to write them off, because at the end of the day, this isn't a team which are known to lose, especially with the likes of Ibra and Giroud up front, and they're getting their goalkeeper back, I'm thinking very soon, if
Who?
not already. Milan.
Mignan? Yeah, he played
Mignan.
on the weekend.
Yeah, he played on the weekend.
Magic
Well,
Mike
look,
played, yep.
yeah, yes, sorry, he did play on the weekend. I'm thinking previous fixture. Yeah, he did play on the weekend, and look, he's got to find his groove.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he has been out for a bit. He's got to find his groove. When you're coming up against a Swallow team, which is on fire the way they are, you really can't underestimate them. But overall, I think these are losses the winners need to take. 2 in a row, I'll be worried if they continue to drop points, because it's becoming very tough to make up. You look at the likes of Inter, who drew with AC Milan, defeated Napoli, and they're still 4 points behind Napoli and 1 point behind AC Milan. So they're suffering for their earlier draws and earlier losses and so forth. But they are traveling to face Genoa on in. I think it will be. This video will drop as that game is on, but they are traveling to face Genoa. So if they can't get 3 points there, then I'll really start to ask questions of where this team's at. But I want to throw it to you. Maldini's come out and said there will be no transfers in the January transfer window. Do you think he's just, trying to throw, that smoke screen in front of everyone? Because I do think they need someone to reinforce this squad.
Yeah, I think they do need something. Whether it be a midfielder or a little bit more help in attack. They, Ibra's been doing a great job as a 40-year-old, and Giroud coming off the bench to help him with Leao, helping as well. But they definitely need something a little bit, maybe that kind of attacking midfield kind of position, just to get that bit more direct balls into the strikers and all of that. But the other thing I wanted to mention, you look at the table, Napoli still on top with 35, Milan in second with 32, Inter in third at 31, with Atalanta being the dark horses, in my opinion, on 28 points. They're not getting much of a mention this year, but they're still performing as good as what they need to. And then, to look further down, Juventus down in 7th place on 21 points and a lot of ground to make if they want any chance of making the top 2 type positions. So I think that
look,
might be a bridge too far.
before we throw to the La Liga, I just want to let everyone know in Milan failed to get a win in their opening 4
2, 3.
Champions
Oh,
League.
yep.
4
4.
Champions League fixtures. Now they're facing a Liverpool team which has secured first spot. And if they get a win and Atletico beat Porto, they're through to the round of 16. If they get any result, I'm pretty sure they'll be into the Europa League because they're in third spot at the moment on goal difference and head-to-head against Atletico. So, you'd start to think, well, this team does need some reinforcement if they are going to compete, because we did see Inter 2 seasons ago suffer because of multiple competitions. And then last season, when they sacrificed the Champions League and moved into the Serie A and focused there, they were able to. But let's get on to the next league, Jono, the La Liga. Yes, you were very quick to get to that. So, La Liga. So, here are the results for match day 15.
And going straight into it, guys, Athletic Club and Granada played a 2-2 draw. Celta Vigo 2 good for Alvarez 2-1. Valencia and Raul Vallecano, mate. Raul Vallecano had a chance to win this in the 90th minute, which they squandered. So that ended up being a 1-1 draw. Mallorca and Getafe played a 0-0 draw. Barcelona 3-1 over Villarreal, and mate, absolutely brilliant play. You can start to see Xavi getting his play between these teams. Frankie de Jong, Depay, and I can't remember the third goal scorer there, but absolutely lighting it up for Barcelona. Real Betis 3-1 over Levante. Espanyol with a 1-0 win over Real Sociedad, and they're starting to drop a little bit of points here and there, Bruno. Atletico Madrid 4-1 over Cadiz with Anton Griezmann scoring 2 goals there and absolutely looked like he's back on form for them. Real Madrid 2-1 over Sevilla, and Osasuna 1-1 with Elche. Bruno, in saying that, mate, this was a jam-packed, action-packed match day, to be honest. The one I wanted to cover in further detail was Real Madrid and Sevilla. Sevilla went up 1-0, and it took a good play for Real Madrid to come back and get the points for this one. In saying that, you got to give it who's been killing it for them. The 2 highest goal scorers in La Liga, Benzema and Vinicius Jr.
Yeah, look, before I go into that, Coutinho was the 3rd goal scorer for Barcelona. He converted a penalty late in the game. But yeah, look, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they went down 1-0 and they went into the halftime breakdown. And it was a very interesting feat where Sevilla felt like they had done enough to get a point from this game, and they just fell asleep. In the 87th minute, I think it was Vinny Jr. gets the goal to give them the 2-1 win. But in terms of the title, this was a fantastic fixture for Real Madrid to extend their lead at the top, especially with Real Sociedad dropping points to Espanyol. So that was a very important fixture for Real Madrid because they played before them. So they knew if they got this, extend the lead. Plus, they've got the game in hand. So it would be a very interesting result there. But overall, this team is starting to find their form. And we've seen it in the Champions League that took a bit to warm up. Then we saw it in the start of this season. They lost their 2 centre-backs in Ramos and Varane. And they're still leaking some goals, but they're definitely attacking a lot better. And that combination up front, like you mentioned, Vinny Jr. and Benzema has just been phenomenal. I just think Real Madrid, it's theirs to lose now.
Yeah.
They secured their position in the round of 16 into the Champions League knockout stage, as has Inter in their group. So the last game is really for first place, which could be crucial. But overall, I just think that this squad here has the depth, and they've just got the management at the moment to get them across the line. It's been a phenomenal performance so far this season, and I just think it'd be silly to be writing them off thinking
Oh, by all means,
they're
yeah.
not going to run away with this.
No, by all means, and you got to agree there. And the other thing which has been very impressive, and it's just a caliber to themselves, is Jordi Alaba. Coming into that side, going into the centre back position, and absolutely killing it for them, scoring goals, setting up goals, but also he's just rock solid in defence, and he is really starting to be a leader of that team and show the reason why he was so sought out from Bayern Munich and why they paid the big bucks to get him, because he's an absolutely phenomenal defender and leader, and he's showing why. And you can tell Carlos Ancelotti knows how to use him, and he's using him quite well. So credit to him. But yeah, no, very happy to see how they're going. And yeah, I think you're right in that sense. It's definitely theirs to lose. So let's hope.
Look, just want to
Yeah,
correct myself. They did go into the break at 1-0. They weren't down by one. They went into the break 1-0. I had to check that because, as I said, I thought I was wrong, and I was. But yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. Ancelotti, he's got the respect of the Madrid room. You saw it at Everton last season. You've seen it everywhere he's gone, and it's just been phenomenal the way he's been able to take this squad who have lost some of their key aspects and kept them going. And
yeah.
they're trying to reclaim the title after Atletico, the current holders, they want to take it off them.
Nah, definitely, mate. Definitely. So, look, in all saying that, it was a very interesting one. They got the Copa del Rey matches this week. So, their La Liga matches have been pushed back to the end of the week before they start the next match day. But in saying that, to move on to the next league, which is the German Bundesliga. Bruno,
Yes,
you can
so
take us through the results.
match day 13 of the Bundesliga was a very interesting one. Stuttgart defeated Mainz 2-1. Hertha Berlin and Augsburg both walked away with a point there in a 1-1 draw. Bochum defeated Freiburg 2-1. Holm were too strong for Mönchengladbach, winning 4-1 there. Guffert, Fürth and Hoffenheim had a 9-goal thriller, with Hoffenheim coming away 6-3 winners there. Bayern Munich, they didn't score 2, 3, 4, or 5. They got the job done though, winning 1-0 against Arminia Bielefeld. Frankfurt got the job done against Union Berlin, winning 2-1 there. And Leverkusen defeated RB Leipzig 3-1. And the one we will be covering, it is the return of Erling Haaland in Dortmund's 3-1 win away to Wolfsburg. Jonathan, they've looked shaky, Dortmund. And Haaland returns and scores, I think, his 50th goal in his 50th match. Or
50th
something like
goal,
that.
50 games, and I think it was something like 10 or 15 assists
Yeah.
in those 15 games as well. And he's only, is he 20? I
Yeah,
think
something like that.
that's unreal. That's unreal. And to come back from injury like he has, we thought we were, by all money, all the reports were saying he was done for this year. He wasn't coming back till January at least, but maybe just being that bit younger and recovering a bit quicker, he was able to get back, a lot quicker than expected. Emre Can opening the scoring with a penalty. Haaland, like you said, getting that third goal to take it to 3-1. They looked a lot more composed this game as to what they have been in previous games, to be honest, Bruno. Wolfsburg, I expected a bit more from them. Change of manager a couple of rounds ago and so forth has worked to a certain extent, but then again, it's just a different show in quality. It's going to be a very interesting match come by the next match day, which I'm going to be talking about on our one to watch. But yeah, no, it's good to see Haaland back and firing, like picking up where he left off.
Yeah, and this is exactly what this Dortmund team needed, especially after their dismal performances in the Champions League as well. Haaland is just, they've got an amazing squad, but they're extremely reliant on Haaland and what he does as a manager, as a player, sorry. And even the managers come out and said, we shouldn't be as reliant as what we are on him. But when you've got a prodigy, and that's exactly what he is for this squad, he is a prodigy. When you've got a prodigy like him on your team, you really can't go many games without having him there. Now, Dortmund are sitting in third spot in their group in the Champions League, needing a win against Besiktas in the final game, as well as Sporting to lose to Ajax in the final game. So they're going to need a lot to go their way in order.
They can't go through.
No?
No, I checked it last week. They can't go through.
So it's game over.
Yeah, their best result is to make Europa League.
Even if they lose, they've made Europa League
Oh yeah,
because
sorry, you're right.
Besiktas
It's
is
too
on
big. Yeah,
0.
they're already out of the round of 16.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they're too far behind. So it is what it is.
It'd be interesting to say the least. I'm glad you're up to speed. That's why I missed the Champions League show last week, and you're
Sorry,
on
mate.
the
I got you
money
covered.
as always. But yeah, look, it's just this team, especially now that they're out of Champions League, they'll be looking to fortify their spot in the Bundesliga. And you'll cover what's happening next week. They're sitting 1 point behind Bayern Munich at the moment on 30, Bayern's on 31, and then you've got Leverkusen on 24. So there's 6 point buffer between second and third, but just 1 point between it at the top of the table. So you could really think without the stress of Champions League, they would probably be able to accelerate and have all of their eggs in the Bundesliga basket, to say the least.
Definitely. And now moving on to our final league for the week is the French Ligue 1. Bruno, if you can take us
Yes,
through.
match day 15. Lens and Agnes, well, nothing could separate them. It was a 2-2 draw there. Lille struggled at home and managed to come away with 1 point in a 1-1 draw. Surprisingly, Nice lost at home to Metz 1-0. Lorient and Rennes, well, Rennes walked away 2-0 victors there. Reims, they defeated one of my favourites in the league, Clermont, full 1-0. Bordeaux were just not strong enough against Brest, losing 2-1 there. Monaco, Strasbourg, well, you couldn't split them. It was 1-1 at the end of that one. Montpellier, they were not good enough at home against Lyon, losing 1-0 there. And Marseille defeated Troyes 1-0. And the one we will be covering a bit more extensively is Saint Etienne, who lost to PSG 3-1. But Jonathan, we're not covering it because you know what? It's an amazing fixture, to say the least. We're covering it because there's been rumors circulating the news outlets and media, social media, and everything else of Sergio Ramos leaving PSG because he's yet to play. He played this game and he was phenomenal. Like he was in his prime at Real Madrid, he played this game absolutely phenomenally. Is this PSG about to turn it up and go to the next level?
I honestly think so. Only because of the sense when you got Marquinhos and Sergio Ramos in your back line, Hakimi on one side and Bernat on the other, mate, it's actually a formidable. And then Donnarumma in goals with Navas in the wings when he's fit. It's actually a pretty formidable back line now. It's almost as impressive as what the front line is. The other special mention we have to say is that Neymar going down with ligament damage to his ankle. He's looking at 3 months on the sideline with that. He's torn a lot of his ligaments, so that needs a lot of time to heal and bruising. With the bruising and so forth, Messi with a hat trick of assists. And the other thing, look, Bruno, I want to put it to you. Neymar going down and being out for
The
such
best
a
thing
long
that could
time.
happen to PSG.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
The
say.
best thing, and I was about to touch on that before you blew out my candle there. But look, this we've said it multiple times. This PSG is full of egos. When you've got the likes of, Mbappe, Messi, Ramos, Donnarumma, Icardi, you know, not the most amazing players, some of them Di Maria, but there's a lot of egos. Wijnaldum. I'm probably listing their starting lineup here. And Neymar, to say the least. But when you've got a lot of these players, it is very hard to see the chemistry. And we've said it all along, and you can see it with Manchester United in the Premier League. You might have the best team on paper, but on the field, you look like you're drowning. You look like a fish out of water. And the same seems to be here with this PSG. I do feel on that side of things, Neymar getting injured might not be the best thing for Neymar. But his return is probably in line with the semi-finals of the Champions League if they do get that far, which is when they'll probably need him the most.
Correct.
It's not really going to hurt them domestically. But you've got the likes of Ramos, who is now integrating into this team, and it seems like he's been at this team for a long time, the way he's performed on the weekend. But with Messi and Mbappe up front, and then you've got Di Maria, who will probably fill in for Neymar on that wing there, you're looking at a squad which would probably take out almost every team across Europe. Just the way they've got the chemistry. You've got, Mbappe, who's got the chemistry with Di Maria because they've been there forever. And then Di Maria's got the national chemistry with Lionel Messi. Then you've got Ramos, who is amazing at what he does. You've got Donnarumma, who just won goalkeeper of the year at the Ballon d'Or event. Messi as well. He won the Ballon d'Or, the record 7th. But I just feel this is the perfect time for Pochettino to get this club going. Now, the rumors have it that Ragnarik is signing with Manchester United as an interim manager so that at the end of this season, Pochettino can join Manchester United and Zidane can take over the PSG role because he wants his next job after that to be the French role.
Yeah,
It
the
is
national
the
job.
biggest confusing thing I have ever read, but it all makes perfectly good sense to me because there's no way this PSG team can do any better than what they did under Tuchel with a manager who hasn't won anything. Whereas you bring Zidane in, who's won everything as a player and everything as a manager, you really got to think these players are going to have a lot of respect for him.
You'd have to expect that, especially the fact that, Zidane won everything at what there is to do in the game as a player and also a manager. So he's pretty much covered every base. If they don't listen to him, there is literally, in my opinion, absolutely no one that can do anything with this PSG squad because there are just way too many prima donnas or egos,
Bring
whatever
Ole
you want to call it. Yeah, there you go. But in saying that, also the fact that the other thing I thought that worked quite well for PSG on the weekend was the format that Pochettino put them in, which was a 4-2-3-1. And it played quite well because the two holding midfielders that were just in front of the defense actually gave them a bit more support, so they weren't caught out as much in defense. Neymar actually tracked back a bit more. Messi didn't, as always, and neither did Di Maria because they just don't like tracking back or pressing like the rest of the players believe they should or could or would. So in saying that, it was actually quite good. So I'll be very interested to see if Pochettino keeps with this formation or changes, because you know what, having Ramos at the back there barking orders and telling people where to, you got one of the best defenders of all time behind you, telling you where to defend, directing you where to go to close space. Exactly. As if you're not going to listen to him.
He told Ronaldo, Bale, Modric, and Benzema what to do. If he can do that, he can do anything in this team here. So I do think that was probably the final piece to the puzzle that this team needed in order to move forward. But overall, you mentioned, Mbappe, Di Maria, Messi not dropping back. They're so lethal on that counter, but with Ramos back there, you really can afford for them not to drop that far back.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But I think we've pretty much covered the top 5 leagues for this week, Bruno. And one that I have missed. That's right, guys. Around the Ground is back. And the one I wanted to cover this week is in the Netherlands with the Everside PSV versus Utrecht, which is second versus fourth. I need to double check that, but
Yes,
it is second versus fourth, and there is only 5 points between those two teams. So, mate, that's going to be an absolutely cracker of a game. And yours for this week, Bruno?
My one is we're off to Portugal, where Benfica will play host to Sporting. Second versus third, I believe, but it is a cracker game on that front with both squads doing extremely well across Europe, let alone the Portuguese league. I just think this is one you really want to look out for. And if you want to break away from your traditional top 5 European leagues, I think this is probably one of the fixtures you'd want to watch.
Definitely. Now, moving into our next one.
Yes, ones to watch where we pick our one fixture each to watch within Europe's top 5 leagues. And this week, I will go first. It is Atalanta-Napoli, I believe. Or is it Napoli-Atalanta? I think Atalanta's at home.
Napoli's at home.
Napoli's at home. Yeah, sorry, because I played the midweek game. Yes, Napoli-Atalanta. Napoli just did amazing thing bouncing back after losing to Inter, belting Lazio a new one, and Atalanta took Juventus all 3 points in Torino at Juventus's home ground. First versus fourth, but it could play big context in the way teams approach Napoli if they come away with the 3 points, but it could also blow the league wide open. Jonathan, you've got an even better one.
Oh, mate, this is one, as I was almost alluded to earlier on. It is the top of the table clash in the German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, 1 point between these two teams. The winner will take bragging rights, and the winner will move to the top of the table. Will Bayern Munich make a 4-point gap, or will Borussia Dortmund pull away with a 2-point lead? Mate, this
I'm
is
more
one
excited.
I am so excited about this one.
I'm more excited for Haaland versus Lewandowski.
Ooh, striker of the year, the Ballon d'Or versus the next striker to be. Oh, old teacher versus prodigy.
And not just that, the fans in this stadium have been away for too long. And you just got to think it is going to be one of those fixtures that is just going to send the world,
especially playing at Dortmund, man, with that yellow wall. That their supporters are absolutely nuts. As Tim and Owen have mentioned in one of the best grounds of the world. So yeah, check that one out for the conversation starter.
Yeah, look, I think that's all we've got time for today in this, guys. Before I hand it to Jono to sign off, don't forget to catch Mo with everything EPL, Anthony with SerieA Roundtable. You've got Jono and myself dropping European Weekly Catch Up, the Champions League show on Champions League match days. Conversation starter with Tim and Owen. You also can catch Jonathan, myself, and Anthony, who will be dropping shorts on our channel, left, right, and center, whenever there's any breaking news. Guys, there's a new one that was dropped that talks about Messi and the Ballon d'Or. So, guys, I know a lot of people don't agree with that, so leave your comments there. Also, we have been trialing lately match speed runs. We've been doing it with match day speed runs, roundups, whatever you want to call them. Anthony's been doing it with the SerieA. I've just done one with the EPL. Let us know if your thoughts. They're a great prelude into the roundtable, everything EPL. Let us know if you really like that. Let us know if you want to see more of that for more of the leagues. Just throw us anything because we'd much appreciate your feedback. That's why we're here, guys. Jonathan.
Guys, great episode as always. Always a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you for tuning in once again, and we'll catch you next week. So, from all of us here at Football Worldwide, and from Bruno and myself at European Weekly Catch Up,